Hi, this is Bob Bowman at Lynx Studio Technology. I'm the co-founder and chief hardware engineer. Lynx has been designing and marketing audio interfaces and converters since 1998, and our products are manufactured right here in California. Our latest offering, Hilo, is our most versatile product ever, with applications in recording, mastering, audio production, remote production, and even for the home audiophile. Hilo is a reference A to D, D to A converter system that re-engineers and redefines the two-channel converter format. Here's how Hilo can be the center of your professional voiceover studio.
This is Mike Nicoletti, and I'm the Sales and Support Coordinator here at Lynx. And we want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to hear how Hilo can be incorporated into your voiceover studio. When we developed the Hilo reference AD-DA converter system, we knew it would be a great hub for a voiceover studio. First, Hilo delivers stellar audio performance that shows off the nuances of today's professional voiceover artist. Second, Hilo's versatility allows it to take the place of several pieces of equipment in your studio: mixer, headphone amplifier, monitor control system, analog to digital and digital to analog converters, and computer interface in a compact, powerful package. Third, all features are easily accessible and controlled using Hilo's innovative LCD touchscreen. Let's take a look at a few voiceover setups. Now, in our examples, we're going to show how to record a voiceover using a MacBook Pro via USB connected to the Hilo. Hilo works with just about any Mac and any PC and virtually any recording software program that you want to use on either platform. But we just happen to have a MacBook Pro lying around not doing anything, so we're going to use that for our recording, and we're going to use Logic as our recording software, so this is actually a very typical setup for you. Now, with this first example, we're going to show how to record a simple radio spot using Logic recording software. Now, you've already carefully selected your microphone and your microphone preamp to give you the tonality and audio quality that best meets your needs and best matches your particular voice. Now, simply connect the mic preamp output to the Hilo's line-in left input and set the trim level. Now, Hilo actually has 8 trim levels that you can set to allow you to match the preamp's output for optimum audio and level performance. Next, plug in your computer using Hilo's built-in USB interface. Now, this gives you up to 16 I/O channels up to 96 kilohertz and up to 8 channels of I/O up to 192 kilohertz. Now, the default of Hilo is an 8-channel mode, but that can easily be changed at any time if you need to. Now, notice that when you plug in the USB cable from the computer into Hilo, that Hilo immediately detects it, and the sample rate and the sync source icons are slashed through. And that's normal, and that just basically means that now those parameters are going to be controlled by the computer or by the computer recording application. Now, let's set up our session. Now, for this example, we're just going to use Hilo's default settings to make things as straightforward and simple as possible. But if you want or need different routing at any point, Hilo has the ability to send any input to any output at any level using the 32 by 32 onboard mixer and the output mix routing page that we'll show you in a little bit. Now, the default routing sends the Hilo's line inputs to USB record 1 and 2 that will show up in your DAW. So it's just straight ahead and just ready to go. So now just simply record to the computer. Hilo's already set up to do that for you right out of the box. Now, for playback, USB play channels 1 and 2 are the default to play back through Hilo from the computer, so you can hear what you're doing, and that USB play 1 and 2 feeds all outputs, including the headphones. Now, we've just described the most basic voiceover or announcement recording that you can do using Hilo, and you can see how quick and easy Hilo was to use right out of the box. Now, you brought your microphone and your mic preamp in to the left line input of Hilo. By default, that was already routed to a single channel of your recording software. You had your headphones on, and you listened to your voiceover as you were recording, and then you listened to playback using USB play 1 and 2, which is again the default setting. And you had all that going just without even doing anything to the settings of Hilo, so piece of cake. Now, even though we used Hilo's default settings for that first example, you can save all this as a scene in one of Hilo's 6 user memories. Now, to do this, you just want to select the Tools menu on the Hilo front panel. You want to tap the Save Scene button. This will bring up a new window to choose which scene you want to save into. Oh, just to be strange, we'll just select Scene 1. Now, you tap that and you'll see the QWERTY keyboard pop up. So yes, we actually do give you a QWERTY keyboard on the Hilo screen. Clear the name, then rename it, and for this one we'll just call it Basic VO, and then tap the Save button. And now you can recall this scene at any moment at just a touch of a couple of buttons. Now, there may be some times when you need to add a voiceover track to existing backing tracks that are already in the project. So you'll need to hear those backing tracks, obviously, but you don't want to re-record them. You just want to monitor them as you're doing the voiceover. And now you want to use the setup that we just saved for scene 1, which is called Basic VO, and we'll use that as your starting point. Now, you may have noticed when we did the first example that there will always be some delay when monitoring through the computer. Now, Hilo has an elegant solution for this. It's called hardware monitoring or direct monitoring. You may have heard those terms before. Now, simply pull up the output mix routing page on Hilo from the home menu. On the right side, you want to select headphones as your output. Now, to the left side of the screen where you have your sources, you want to select the line in by tapping it until the little box turns green. That makes it active. Now, you'll notice now when you hear your voice that you're hearing it only on the left side of the headphones. Now, this may or may not bother you, but if it does, you can assign this left-only channel to be in the center so that the left input will feed both outputs of the headphones, so you have it in mono and you have it in the center of the stereo field. Now, your backing tracks, which are coming in on USB Play 1 and 2 from the computer, can now be heard along with your microphone through the Hilo's line inputs. Now, you'll just need to remember, though, that you want to turn off software monitoring in your recording program because you don't want to do double monitoring, so you want to avoid that. And now you're set up just as you were before to record your voice into the tracks of your DAW, to whatever tracks you've assigned them to. And when you're all done, using the same save scene procedure that we did before, you can save this to scene 2, let's say, and you maybe can possibly name it VO and backing. In summary, in this example, you've just recorded a mono voiceover track with no latency direct monitoring while listening to the backing tracks that were in your project. And these tracks can be later mixed down and delivered to your client. Now, for different studios or more complex sessions, you may choose to work with an engineer, so you don't have to be the engineer and voiceover talent all rolled into one person. Now, the engineer may want a different mix of sources and at different levels than what you're hearing in your headphones. Now, this is easily set up using the monitor outputs of Hilo. Now, these two TRS or balanced quarter-inch outputs on the back panel have all the same routing options as all the other outputs for a unique mix for the engineer. So again, using the output mix routing page, and you'll notice here that we're spending quite a bit of time on this screen, and that's one of the screens you'll be spending a lot of time on as well. Now, the monitor output allows the engineer to bring in different audio sources and effects at different levels than what you, the artist, is hearing in your headphones. So like the headphone output, the monitor output can be controlled using the front panel rotary knob as the volume controller. Now, when both headphones and monitors are operational, the rotary controller toggles between those two controls with just a little click of the button. If headphones are not connected, the only choice you have is your monitor output because Hilo knows when headphones are connected to the front panel. Now, once the engineer has set up the routing the way he wants it, again, you can save the scene and name it. You now have 3 unique setups saved in Hilo's memories that you can recall at any time. Actually, let the engineer save it and name it because he might get offended if you start playing with his Hilo. We're going to take a couple of minutes now to talk about how to add effects to your project. So there's 2 primary ways to do that. Of course, you can use the plugins in your software recording program, or you can use your favorite piece of outboard gear. So we're going to cover the outboard gear option now. Now, so far, we've used the analog inputs and outputs of Hilo and the digital I/O that goes between Hilo and the computer, but we haven't yet touched the digital side of Hilo. Now, part of the versatility of Hilo is the ability to select the digital in format between AES EBU, SPDIF optical, and SPDIF coaxial. The SPDIF optical can actually even be changed and switched to ADAT format if you're using that. But for this example, let's use the AES EBU input and output feature, and we're going to feed a digital reverb using that. So the routing is very simple. In the output mix routing page, just on the right side, select the AES out. On the input side, on the left side of the screen, you want to select line in. Now you want to check the input indicator on your reverb unit so that it makes sure it's getting the signal okay and that it's a proper signal. And you'll also want to route this to your headphone output or your monitor output so that you can hear the reverb as well. So in a similar way, you would select headphone or monitor out on the right side of the screen and select your digital in as your source on the left side. That will route the return of the reverb to your headphones or to your monitors. Now, of course, you're monitoring this, but you may want to record the wet signal into your DAW as well as recording the microphone onto its own track so that you're not committed to a mix while you're recording. You can mix them, of course, as you want to later, and mixing the wet and dry signals later as you need to. So you have the option of using the Hilo's default settings, which is that the digital inputs get sent out USB record 3 and 4, so you can record the reverb on those tracks, or of course you can reassign them at will using the output mix routing page. So now you have your voiceover recorded, and you have your reverb coming in on their own 2 tracks for mix down later. Here at Lynx, we love digital, but we also love analog too. So if you want to keep an analog copy for yourself of your project, there's certainly no problem with Hilo, because we haven't done anything yet with the beautiful analog outputs of the line outputs of Hilo. So again, on the right side of the output mix routing page, you can simply choose line out as your output. On the left side where the sources are, you want to select whatever sources you want to send to the line out and then adjust the levels accordingly to get a nice mix for yourself. Now remember to set the line out trim to match this proper setting of your analog recording device, again to get the proper level and optimum performance set up. And then go ahead and play back your recording software and record it into your analog device. Maybe like a cassette, so you can send it to your mom and she could play for all her friends because she's so proud of her kid that's in the voiceover business.
The versatility of Hilo allows it to be a tool for many audio applications. If you need to record remotely, Hilo has a battery option. Finally, many of these examples lend themselves to other types of audio production, such as overdubbing, basic radio production, and mastering, just to name a few. Thanks again for watching this video. If you have any questions, we invite you to email or call us. We're always here to help. Again, thank you from Lynx Studio Technology.